Hi everyone, my name's Lauren and today I'm going to be telling you how I launched my own business aged 17. My business is called Obsidian and that name is derived from the name of a precious gemstone which is said to have healing qualities and all these sorts of things to help you ground yourself and cope with difficult situations, which is really personal to me, and that's how I came up with the name. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now, as you can see. And basically, I run a clothing business which is customizable. So I sell patches, pins, badges, jewellery, and then I've got backpacks, beanies, t-shirts, hoodies, joggers. All the clothing can be customised with the pins and patches and badges. So you can really express who you are with what you wear. So my slogan is "Own Who You Are." I also have sloganed t-shirts, which are my personal favourite part, and they say things like "Make today count" and things that are really positive affirmations and motivational quotes. When I wear them, I feel inspired, and I hope that others do too. So that's what really drives me to keep going and keep on designing and putting things out there for people. And that's basically what I sell. I started Obsidian in September of last year, so 2018, and it was after a very long, recovery period, which I'm still not fully over. But in 2016, I believe, I was diagnosed with autism, depression, and anxiety, and later was also treated for PTSD. So I had a really difficult time at school, which I won't go into too much, but it was a really bad time for me, and I wanted to help other people who are in the same situation that I was in by reaching out and telling them, it's going to be okay, and just showing, I've been there and I get it. And that's the sort of thing that I was really missing at that point. I needed somebody who I could look up to and think, yeah, they get it, and that's what I'm trying to be for other people. So it was quite difficult. I didn't really know where to start with this. I had an idea that I could, buy a shop where I live, like a physical shop, and sell things that I'd get from wholesalers and just call the shop Obsidian because I already had the name picked out. And then I thought, well, that's only reaching people in my area. That's not communicating to people on a larger scale, and that's what I really want. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still working towards that, but I'm already reaching people, and I want to keep doing that. And that's what I wanted right from the beginning. So I thought, how can I reach more people? I guess I could have social media, which I've got, which I'll link at the end. And then I just sort of started to think, well, why not do it online? Why not have an online business? And why not make a brand out of it? Why not create Obsidian as a thing? So that's where everything sort of started falling into place, and I started getting really excited about it. This was about June last year, I'd say. So it's less than a year since I had the idea, so it's definitely moved quickly. But yeah, so I had to start with designing and sourcing products and working out what I was going to sell, how much I was going to sell it for. So I thought I want everything to be affordable, first and foremost, because it isn't about making money for me. It's not about profiting off it or anything. It's about reaching people and helping them. So all my products are what I would class affordable, and there's lots of deals and sales, and that's what I like to see when I shop online. I like to see things. So yeah, I was basing it off of what I like, and yeah, I had to find the products, design them, create them, produce them, and all of that was really fun for me. And then it wasn't until sort of later in the process that I discovered all the technical issues. So I had to check that the name Obsidian wasn't, already being used by somebody else, and all of these things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So that's basically how I came to launch my business. It was difficult, but it's so worth it because the amount of pride and happiness and fulfillment I get from it. So every time I make a sale, every time I send something off, every time I see online somebody's received their order and they love it, it just really makes everything work for me, and it fills my heart with so much joy. So yeah, I really enjoy what I do and I don't regret any of it. So I'm now 7 months in to my business, and things are going really well. Not, when I first started it, I had this vision that within a month I'd have 1 million followers online and be getting orders every day, and that was just ridiculous. So you can't go into anything, like it's good to go into things like optimistic, but not like insanely so. So I did need a bit of a reality check, and I got that pretty quickly. So within a week I sort of realised, this is going to take longer than I thought. But yeah, so I'm 7 months in, and so far so good. I'm so close to 1,000 followers on Instagram. I'm about 30 away, I think. And again, I'll link that at the end. And I'm making a couple of sales every week from all over the world. So it's international now. So at the beginning, I was thinking, it's going to go to people in the UK because I live in the UK. But already I've had orders from all over the place: Switzerland and Italy and Canada and France and Finland, like all sorts, everywhere. Places that I hadn't even heard of. And I can also see online on Google Analytics, I believe it's called, you can see when people are viewing your website, where they're from, what language they're viewing it in, what page they're looking at. So that's really exciting. We get, I'd say, up to about 100 views on our website every day. So while we're not making orders every day, people are coming back and looking at the website and finding the things they like and what they don't like and putting things into their wish list. So it's going pretty good. As much as I was hoping that it would take off instantly, once I got my reality check, I was thinking, this is going to take ages to form this brand and to get the name out there. And since I thought that, I've again surprised myself, but in a good way, because I'm now thinking, this is going better than I could have hoped at the moment. And it's when I see people commenting like how much they love their stuff and how much my message helps them, that means so much to me, more than any sales would mean to me. I've also done a blog post on Heads Together. If you're not from the UK, I don't know if you'd have heard of Heads Together. It's run by the Royal Foundation, so the princes have a lot to do with it, and lots of celebrities have had things to do with it, and they partner with loads of other mental health charities. So it is essentially a mental health charity, and they've got this massive website, massive platform, and I've recently been given the opportunity to write a blog post for them, which was amazing. So if you want to hear a bit more about my story, you can check that out. I'll link that as well if I remember. So yeah, things are going well, and I'm really happy at the moment with how things are going. So yeah. So I mentioned how at the start I had probably too high ambitions. Not necessarily ambitions, but expectations. I needed to lower them a bit, but my ambitions haven't changed. I hope that one day Obsidian is known and recognised as anybody starting their business would want. That's what I'm working towards. But most of all, I want to reach other people and help them, because if I'd had that when I was 15, 16, when I really needed it, I wouldn't have gotten to the point that I did, which was a really low point for me, and I don't want anyone to go through that. When you're sitting in a hospital bed and you feel like life isn't worth living, all you need is to know that someone understands, and that's what I want to be for other people. I want people to sort of know my story and relate to it and think things are going to be okay, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. So I had I didn't think that anything was going to happen in my future. I thought that I was going to be unemployed and I wouldn't have any future prospects because I had such high anxiety. I couldn't socialise really. Like I had friends, but I found social situations really difficult, and I just thought, I'm never going to get a job, I'm never going to go to an interview, I'm not going to be able to do university, there's nothing out there for me. And I was so wrong, because it didn't occur to me that there are things for everybody, and you just have to find it. You have to find what you're passionate about, and I hadn't found it yet. And if I hadn't have gone through what I'd gone through, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be starting a business, trying to help other people, because I wouldn't have had the experiences that drove me to helping other people. So you've just got to give yourself time. And, you know, I would never, ever have thought that I'd have started a business. I wanted to be a paediatrician. I wanted to be a foster carer. I wanted to be a doctor, teacher. I know doctor is the same as paediatrician, but different. You know, all of these things, dancer, singer, actress, all the typical things that, you know, you might want to be when you grow up. I went through all of them growing up. Marine biologist was one for ages. Sorry, my dog's itching in the background. But yeah, I think if you're lost and you don't know where you're going with your life, that's so okay. And that's a message that I want to give to everybody, because I had no idea what I was doing. And, you know, it took me until I was almost 18 to, you know, have an idea of what I might want to do and genuinely settle on it and do something about it. So that's the sort of time, you know, you'd be deciding if you're going off to uni or, you know, which I'm not. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing for the time being. So yeah, if you're lost and you don't know what you're doing, that is absolutely okay. People haven't started their businesses till they're in their 30s or 40s. You know, they've just stumbled through life until then, and then they've found what they want to do, and that works for them, and that's fine, and that's great. And if it takes you that long to find what you need to do, then that's fine, and that's really important. And I wish someone had told me that when I was 15. Another thing I'd like to say is that if you're thinking about starting a business, whether it's something small and local to you, or whether it's like wider scale, you want to reach people like I do, I would just say to go for it, because, you know, there's not much to lose. So I took out quite a big loan, or my parents took out a big loan for me because I wasn't old enough to take one out myself, so that I could source all my products. And essentially, if Obsidian doesn't work out, that's all I'm going to lose. I'm going to have to keep paying off that loan, pay off the debt. It'll take me a good 5-ish years, maybe 10 years to properly pay it off, depending on how quickly I pay it. And that's manageable for me. So that's all I'd lose. You know, I'd be a bit disheartened if it didn't work, but I think on the whole, it's so worth trying, because you never know. You don't know until you try. So if you're thinking about doing something, anything, whether it's going out to get a new job, writing a book, you know, signing yourself up for a school play, whatever it is, do it, because, you know, even if you regret it, at the end of the day, it's a learning experience, and you regret it more if you didn't try, because you never know how helpful it could be, you know, what good life experience it might provide you with. You've just got to trust yourself and trust that even if it doesn't go well, even if it doesn't go how you planned, even if it goes really badly, things will work out and it will be okay. And if you don't try something, you never know how well it could have gone and how amazing it could have been. You've just got to seize every opportunity that you get and really run with it. And I'm so glad that I did, because it took a lot of confidence for me to get started. I was really quite shy and introverted. I still am, but it took a lot, and I'm so glad that I pushed myself, because the amount of fulfillment that it gives me every day when I wake up and think, this is what I'm doing today. I'm going to package these orders, or I'm going to do a new post online. You know, it's amazing. And if I hadn't have just pushed myself out of my comfort zone just that little tiny bit more, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I'd have been, you know, thinking, I can't cope with uni, what am I going to do? I can't get a job. I'd still be in that same sort of mindset, because I wouldn't have found my calling yet. And that's what you've got to keep doing. You've got to push yourself towards that and make it work. If you do want to do what I've done and started a business, and that's why you're watching this video, I would say to get started, you need to make a big list. So not just like one list, but lots of little lists. So list what you hope to get out of it, what your dreams for the future are, how that builds in and makes those dreams possible. And list all the things that you need to go through and tell yourself and remind yourself. So I made a list of things that could go wrong, because I needed to prepare myself. So I have had hate comments on my videos and adverts and things that I've done. I get, I've got an advert running right now and I've already had about 10 hate comments, which I've just deleted. And, last year I wouldn't have coped with that at all. I would have had a complete meltdown because I thought it was about me, people hating me, and that it was something I'd done wrong. And you need to be prepared for that because people can be brutal. And, if you're going to put yourself out there, you need to be prepared that it won't always be nice. Most of the time, most people are really lovely and genuine and they support me and, it's exactly how I'd hope it would be. But, there are people that want to tear you down, whether they're jealous or, whatever the reason is. I had to prepare myself for that, and it took months for me to get my head around the fact that, that could happen. And it has, and I've dealt with it, and I just delete the comments, but you need to be prepared to do that. Another thing I would say for starting a business is to be sensible and realistic. So set realistic goals. So rather than thinking by the end of the first week I'll have made 10 sales, you need to think, how am I going to make that happen? So what am I going to do to get myself there? Will I do an advert? Will I write something about it online? Will I put posters up in my village or town or wherever you live? Will I go and talk to people and put myself out there? How are you going to get people to know about your brand and find you online or in real life, however you're set up? So be realistic about it and set proper goals. So rather than I will achieve this, how will you achieve it? Set milestones and goals and, keep yourself focused and, So to summarise, if you're thinking about doing something, go for it. Grab it with both hands and run, and don't stop no matter how many people tell you that it's ridiculous, that it's not worth doing, that it's not going to work. Don't listen to them because you know yourself better than anybody else. And if somebody tries to hold you back, that's on them and it doesn't reflect you. I have had a lot of people in my life try to drag me down and take away my confidence, and I let them for a long time. I let them. And if you're doing that, if you're letting people get to you, that's not a bad reflection on you. That's a reflection on how they make you feel. And you've just got to try and overcome that and get past that. Because once you get past that, life is so much easier and so much better. It's really important that you put yourself first. And if you think that you've got an idea and that you can do something with it and create something amazing or something that really means a lot to you and you're really driven to do, you've just got to do it. Like I said, if I hadn't, I wouldn't be where I am now. And where I am now is pretty good. So I thank myself for doing that. And you will thank yourself too. If you push yourself out of your comfort zone and do something brave, and setting up a business and putting yourself out there is brave, you will thank yourself. Even if people try and tear you down, or they're nasty to you about it, or they tell you it's a waste of time and you're never going to achieve anything and you're never going to be what you want to be, block them out. Block them literally. If it's online, block their accounts, delete their messages. You've got to rise above it. So that's the message I want to give. And above all that, I want people to know that I don't know everybody's individual circumstances. I don't know your situation. Unless I know you personally, then I probably know your situation. But generally speaking, if you're watching this video and I don't know you, then I can't say that I know what you're going through. Because when people say that online and I watch it, it annoys me because, I was thinking, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what I'm feeling. You can't possibly imagine how I feel. And to an extent that's true, but I know how it feels to be really depressed and really low. So regardless of what's caused that, if you're feeling really depressed and really low, I know how that feels and I have been there and I can relate to that. And, I'm still on the journey of overcoming it and it's been years. I'm on medication. I've been through therapy, and it's been a long journey, and I'm not quite done with it yet. It's still a continuing journey, but I do know how that feels, and I'm telling you now that it does get better, and you've just got to wait it out. You have to stick with it and wait for it to finish. You know, if there are things you can do to help yourself, do them. But if there's nothing, if you just feel like it's hopeless, nothing you can do can change your situation. You know, if it's in your family and it's out of your control, or if it's your friendship group, or, you know, just something happening in your life that you can't control and there's nothing you can do about it, you've just got to wait. Because how you feel now won't last forever. No emotion lasts forever. If you're really happy, that will come to an end and you'll have another low point. And if you're really low, that will come to an end and you'll have a really high point. And you've just got to look forward to the good parts of life. Bad things will happen, and that's okay, because bad things happen to everybody. You've just got to know that good things are coming and they're ahead of you, and you've got to look to them and get yourself there. Because, you know, things for me, like I've just come back from a holiday, and if I'd let myself, you know, go where I wanted to go in 2016, I wouldn't have gone on my holiday. I wouldn't have been here to see it and to experience everything. And you've got to let yourself get there, because it was such a good week for me and I loved it and I appreciated my life so much and I was so happy, and, you know, I got to spend beautiful time with my family and everything was amazing. And that's what you've got to do, you know. I couldn't have predicted that 3 years ago. I couldn't have thought, oh, I'm going to go on this amazing holiday in 3 years' time and it's all going to be wonderful and I'm going to be really happy and really love life. You know, I couldn't have predicted that that was going to happen. I thought that I was going to be really depressed, or that I wouldn't even be alive still in 3 years' time. You've just got to hope and know that life gets better and it will get better. You've got to stick with it. And this has been a really long outro. But yeah, basically, to sum it up, stick with it, life will be okay, and if you're thinking about doing something, do it. Hi everyone, my name is Lauren, and today...